And I've been banished to the bedroom. So that's why you see these pictures behind me. It's pretty bad. Let's wait a couple more minutes though. Um, I just, well, since we're recording, does anybody, I think we should start questions right now. Does anybody have any, I mean, questions pertaining to the weaving and the colors and all those things? I really, really want to save those for the workshop. It makes for a great workshop. But are there any process-oriented questions about the computer or the files or this kind of thing that people have?
I'm just not really sure when the workshop is taking place. Like, I have the dates, but not a time.
Okay, so that is part of what I'm going to be sending you, in print in an email after this oh, I see a lovely fur ball. Um Anyhow, it's going to begin next Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And what I try to do with my workshops, I just plunged right into this, didn't I? We didn't even introduce ourselves. But what I try to do with these Zoom workshops is give everyone a simulated on in place workshop. So we'll have 9:30 to 10:30, or give or take a half an hour. We will discuss some of the basic principles. We'll have probably maybe a what PowerPoint. Um, and then we're going to go, so it's 9:30 to 10:30 on Saturday, 1 to 2, and 4 to 5. Now, the intent is that we're not staring at a screen for forever. It's exhausting. I record these sessions, so they're available for you indefinitely. But also, the intent is that people can weave if they want in between our Zoom sessions. You don't have to start your workshop samples until after the workshop. It's completely your call. But, I try to make it as much like a real workshop as possible. So so it's 9:30 to 10:30, 1 to 2, and 4 to 5. And the same for March 1, 3 1-hour sessions, but we often go quite a bit over depending on the conversation. And then the last day is only 9:30 to 10:30 and 1 to 2. So we've got 8 hours. That's a lot of discussion and lecturing. It's more than an on-site workshop. So my theory is, don't make people cross-eyed staring at a screen. Present the material they need and let them go at it. I do like to take time. This dress rehearsal is intended to clear out, any of the details. After that, I'm going to be sending you all of the links you're going to need. Right now, are there any other, functional, detail, meeting related questions, anything like that? Okay. So here's how our workshop works. After this meeting or tomorrow, depending, I will be sending you one link, one Zoom link, and that is a recurrent meeting. You can ask me for it again if you lose it, but all you have to do is click on and off that Zoom link to enter or exit the workshop. Again, remember, I will also be sending you YouTube links for recordings of the workshop. But here's to me, the most important part of the workshop. I mean, other than the fact we have the information available at all times. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you what is our Google Drive folder. Now, this is a little, it's inscrutable, okay? What are we looking at? All right, in the first place, it's our one warp, many structures, explorations, and extended parallel threading workshop library, effectively, right? And these are reference materials for all of us to view. Therefore, you will be getting an invitation, an individual invitation to this Google Drive. The only requirement is that you have a Google account, which I have to assume most people do. You know, most people use Google for searching or as a whatever you call it. Then within each of these folders, I'm going to be sending each person in the workshop an invitation to their folder. And in that folder, for example, Ann Baker, there's nothing in there right now, but I rely on this heavily for teaching. I ask people to upload photos to their folder. What it amounts to is sort of a drag and drop, so that if I can show you, let's see, can I diminish this? I'm not very good at this. Well, in any event, anything that's on your desktop, you can simply open your folder and you drag that photo and you drop it there. And as I mentioned, I think if you can't do that and you're having trouble doing that, email me the photos at DKOVN. It's my first initial and the first four letters of my last name, just DKOVN@hotmail.com, and say, Denise, please upload these to my folder. And then this is a don't be shy workshop, because it's wonderful. It's the closest we can get to an on-site workshop. If I can go into Amy's file and Amy can say, okay, so I'm working on the Falling Stars design and my warp is, you know, blue and green. And I have X, Y, and Z wefts that I've been trying for this is my echo design. And, you know, I like my beat, or what do you think of my beat? I've have some misthreadings here, and I'll say, don't even think about it. You know, really, you really need to focus on learning the techniques. The threadings are really odd. Weavers aren't used to threadings that ping pong all over the grid, but I will break it down, and it makes perfect sense once you break it down into two colors. You really are working with two harmonic pattern lines, two parallel pattern lines. But because they have to cycle around 8 shafts, for example, what would normally be on shaft 9, which we don't have, goes to shaft 1. So all of a sudden we get this, what appears to be a break in the pattern, and it's not. So it's a little tricky, but well, the threadings are they're really they're really hard. I'm rethreading a piece right now and it's taking me forever. So there are your individual files. And then these magenta marked files are resources. And this is, for example, some whiffs and a diagram on how to do a double weave hem to finish your piece. There's a lot of little, I've thrown everything in here. Here are all of the handouts for every design in the class. These are student samples that I love to go over and study why they work. This was, oh, I got a math major involved in one of my patterns, and she redid it. That's another story. And these are whiffs. These are whiffs for every single pattern in the workshop, and then some. I added this one. Now, if we scroll down, I haven't completed adding all the materials, and I continue to add them as questions come up. But for example, these are color references, usually online. A couple color stars that we can refer to. A PowerPoint. Your handouts again, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. Your handouts again, uploaded. We're going to do an exercise if the class is ready, willing, and able on network drafting, because it's really, really, really nice to have some passing understanding of what network drafting really is. I won't get into the content of that right now, but it's when we do it with paper and pencil, it starts to make sense. So we'll do that if the class so chooses. Your handouts, the main workshop handout, this is a presentation, and this is another PowerPoint. And I think I have another PowerPoint on color. So I just like very much to make as much available as possible. Even in your handout, you'll see, oh, well, this didn't work that way. I wanted to open your handout. There's an extensive bibliography that I hope I can get to. Never mind. But bottom line is I'm trying to make resources available. Well, obviously my first goal is for you to wrap your head around what this concept of parallel threading is, understand how many variations in designs from echo to gin to shadow weave to rep to double weave we can do, understand the color blending opportunities that it gives us, which are unique, not in weaving, but are unique to these techniques. They can be found in other techniques as well, but they're particularly rich opportunities with these techniques. And then if you choose to learn more, I try to provide as many resources as possible for further study. Any questions? You know, that's really it. That you don't have to have your loom warped and ready to go at the first session. I mean, we're not on site. We don't have to vacate after 2.5 days. So maybe I sound too permissive, but I think it's ridiculous to put that pressure on people when the recordings are available, the materials are available, and your loom is always available. These are really my favorite techniques to use, and probably that's why this is one of my favorite courses to teach. At the beginning of our workshop, our real workshop on Saturday, I will have a meet and greet because we're coming from all over. We had at the start 7 or 8 people from Ann Arbor, and then I posted it on Facebook, as you know, or my blog, and people signed up from different time zones. So I think it's really nice to expand our sense of the weaving community. And it's nice to get to know each other. I'm going to send you precise instructions on getting into Google Drive. If there are any problems, please email me because for those who aren't used to it, it's kind of like, all right, I've gotten this invitation. Now what do you want me to do? I want you to be able to get into the library, and I want you to be able to upload photos. And if you can't upload photos or you don't know how to take photos and get them to your computer, so be it.
What? Hmm?
Hello? We hear another very young weaver. I hope. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm putting somebody on the spot. All right. See, that's how short it is. I mean, we've only gone for 15 minutes. I do this to make sure that, you know, our Zoom session works. Everybody knows how to get there. They know what they will be receiving. I'm going to give you a time schedule. I don't want everything to come out of the blue. That's why I do this. Any further questions? Lovely. All right. For those who are in the sunshine, enjoy it. And for those who are in the snow, enjoy it. I took a walk today and it was mush and it was really nice for walking. because I could get traction. Um, Also, just as a postscript, um, I really like to I'm so glad this workshop has 18 people in it. And to me, that's pretty much a limit. But I'm so glad it's that large because oftentimes there are people who add information about tools they use or different processes they use, and it can be pretty yeasty, it can be pretty helpful. So I encourage you to speak up, interrupt. I'm from New York. I don't care. Um, ask questions, really treat it more like a seminar than a lecture.
Denise, I have a question real quick.
Yes, Terry.
Um, you asked us in the instructions that you emailed us to wind 2 warps. So did you want us to do like different color warps so that we could experiment with different colors, or does it
You know,
matter?
So I just mean 2 colors in one warp.
Okay.
And so you're just winding, in your fingers, A, B, right? You
Mm-hmm.
just keep AB in there and just
Gotcha.
wind the two together. So you're really winding just 200 ends,
Okay.
but you're threading 400. And always thread them in sequence, color A, color B, color A, color B, because that's how you see these echoing motifs.
Right. And then, so we're just going to use that 1 warp for the whole workshop?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And oftentimes people like to see which um, pattern design technique they like best, and then they'll weave a project at the end. So I say in that case, you might want to put on 5 or 6 yards.
Uh-huh.
But if you're doing samples, depending on your loom allowance, I would just say 4 yards.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and most of the designs are about 400 ends, which is, if you're using 10-2, that's about 11 inches in the reed. And I do consider finishing at the end of the workshop. It's nice to look at everyone's work, and I consider finishing. It's not woven till it's finished, Wash it and iron it if you can. Again, it's not a race. You do not have to complete this at all by the end of our Zoom workshop. But if you are so inclined, it's wonderful to see the finished sample because it really does resolve some of the patterns. It makes them more noticeable, more clear.
I have a question.
Yeah,
You suggested that we have a laptop or computer that has the software on it if we use software.
right.
And and you suggested that we have it next to the loom. But if I've got you right about the way this is going to work, we're going to be with you an hour at a time, 3 times a day, and so we won't be at our loom, right?
No, you're
Oh,
right.
good.
I don't know what I was saying.
Oh,
I don't know where I said it. But, I just mean if you rely on software, um, to keep your place for treadling, to observe your progress, it's nice to have it next to the loom.
hmm good.
But other than that, the reason I mentioned software is I rely on it heavily for teaching because it's a shorthand. Here's how this pattern is developed. So Fiberworks Silver, I use Fiberworks Silver because the bronze edition does not allow you to, it does not have the parallel threading command in its menu. And also they don't have the networking option. So you can even download the free version. It's the demo version of Fiberworks Silver without purchasing it. And all you have to do is, I just used to do save screen, what is it, print screen or something like that, screenshot, and then print it. So for a long time, far too long, I relied on the demo version of Fireworks. But personally, I'm very pro. Well, I mean, there are two arguments. If you are to construct each drawdown by hand on graphic paper, you're going to learn a lot. But Fiberworks, you can really play and really design. So,
Yeah.
I know that. Hello?
Oh, Sandy, can you put yourself on mute? Okay. I think that we're good, right?
Yep.
I'm on a Zoom and I can't take it. Just that phone call.
All right, so-
Don't go back.
We will see each other before
Oh, is
then.
this
You
it?
will be hearing from me. And questions, shoot them my way.
Give me 5 minutes.
dkovn@hotmail.com.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
All right?
All
Have
right.
a wonderful Sunday.
Thanks.
Good to see everybody. And I will be sending a recording link for this. All right? Probably on
Thanks.
Monday. Bye now.
Bye.